hosted with. I'll start that again. Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Wealth Creation and Leadership Training session. I'm Emolium, and we are hosted with our family Project 61, and I'm thrilled to have each of you here with us tonight. So before we dive into tonight's session, let's set the stage. If you're ready to embrace the billionaire mindset, type billionaire mindset in the chat and let's kickstart this journey together. Say if you could put in the chat, billionaire mindset, and who is ready to get started. Amazing. So, fantastic. It's great to see everyone ready to dive in, and let's welcome our presenter for tonight, Rueben Sarvananthan. He's an incredible mentor and a brother to us, as well as our, he just loves people and he loves to see his family and individuals such as myself and the community to succeed and achieve their goals. Like as we say, dream big. Rueben, over to you. Thank you.
Awesome job. Can we say thank you to Em? She's done a great job. Give her a big high five and a 777 in the chat group. She made me dress up today as well, and I like her dress up. So I'm dressed up on the top, but not the bottom. I won't show you the bottom. It's like those TV presenters, right, Margaret?
We don't want to know.
The suit. So I'm a millionaire on top, and this is how a billionaire looks like. All right, let's go. And we can show you that.
Khaki pants, pajamas.
Billionaire, millionaire, whichever one. Good to see everyone on. Welcome. Good to see you, Alex. Long time. Guys, a few more people jumping in. Let's remind them as we get started. It's going to be a great session today. We're up to our, second last week of our 45-day program. We're already seeing results taking place, which is really good. So, but I like what M said. We got to dress like a millionaire. Why, M? Tell us why you think it's important to dress like a millionaire.
Well, from one of my mentors as well, Rebecca, here online, it's always good to dress up to feel like you are a millionaire. So when we have that mindset forming from like the mindset that we have right now to a billionaire mindset. So we have to dress this part. So it's, yeah, for me, it's compulsory. And I'm hoping for our Project 61 that you are dressed for a billionaire mindset.
Amazing. Thank you. I love that. So I think that is important because how many of you feel good when you dress up? If you do that, come on, who feels good when they dress up? All right.
I do.
Margaret, you feel good when you dress up?
I dress up all the time, generally.
You do. You look amazing. So for those who are adjusting themselves and going, I don't feel very dressed up, don't worry. I told you, I got my pajamas at the bottom.
Now I'm in ordinary stuff, but that's all right.
It's all good. Now, there is a reason that there is a psychology behind it because, and I forgot about it. So thank you, Em, for reminding me because I'm in a place where my mind is a millionaire mindset. So I just dress whatever way I dress, but it doesn't change how I feel. But there was a time when how I dressed did make a difference on how I felt. And so that's really important. And so if we mean business, especially with creating a millionaire mindset, a billionaire mindset, we're talking about empires, we're talking about why are we saying these things? I know they're just words that a lot you might hear often, but remember we're trying to tap in and we are tapping into $1 trillion industry. Okay, and so it's important to feel confident, and part of that is when you dress up, you feel confident. Who feels confident when they dress up? They feel good. They feel, yeah. Like I'm looking at myself, going, not bad. Looks pretty good on the camera, right? Just don't let me stand up again. If well, I tried. All right, I did half. You happy? Okay, I even got the pocket. See, good. I was a good boy.
What's Sam wearing underneath?
I'm not telling you what I'm wearing underneath.
No, not underneath. What's Em wearing at the bottom?
Oh, what's M wearing? I was going to say, let me suffice to say, when I'm ready to go to bed, I'll be jumping in. Ooh, M's really done a good job. Guys, we got to give her a hand.
Very good.
All right. Millionaire mindsets, dress the part, important. Okay, it changes how you see things. And it makes a big difference. And so I thank you, M, for reminding us, because I would suggest to you guys that dress properly. So a few years ago, one of the things I did do was we grew up in a culture where we had going out clothes and clothes at home. And clothes at home didn't look so good. They had like sometimes you ever have a favorite shirt that's got, torn and pieces on it and you just still wear it anyway? Yeah, it was stuff like that that I had. So I literally went and threw that out about 10 years ago and I went, whatever I wear in the house, I should be able to wear out the house too. Okay, except for my pajamas. But that's a different story. So I want you guys to be able to think that way, because if you do have a culture of having different types of clothes, one in the house, one for outside, you may feel like that as well. And when we're coming here to work, we're actually coming here to do the best we can, create the best opportunities for ourselves to have a great, to create a great turn. Now, we want to celebrate a few things today, so welcome everyone. If you can turn your cameras on, it'd be great. Hello, bro Sandeep. Good to see him on, and good to see the two Rosses on. Excuse me. I'm sporting a little cough today, so just excuse a little. I thought I'd bring something back from Istanbul. Such lovely people there that gifted me with something. But don't worry, I'm not contagious. That's all good. Hey, Margaret, good to see you on. Welcome. Where are you these days, my dear? Have you got back to Australia, or are you still in somewhere in Istanbul? Or
I'm
Turkey?
actually just arrived back in Istanbul.
Wow.
Hang on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to connect. I'm at the airport. I just landed.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, so I just quickly jumped on and I'm hoping that Wi-Fi will stay put. But yeah, it's good to see you again, Ruben.
Good to see you, my dear.
And it's nice to see everybody else as well. I'm new to the family, by the way.
Margaret.
Oh, Margaret.
Hi, Bernard.
From Adelaide. Don't hold that against her. She's an amazing woman who feels like one of us other Aussies from Victoria and other places. But we got to meet her in Istanbul, and it was amazing. And hey, look at that for commitment. She's here on a Monday, just landed in the airport, and jumped on with camera turned on. So can we give her a triple three to say thank you? Good to see her. Welcome her to the
Thanks,
family.
guys.
She's joined the MedFi group as well, which has been exciting. So it's good to see her on the Wealth Creation. Good to see you, Margaret, and you're beaming as always, which is amazing. Wonderful. Guys, some testimonials today before we get started. Today we're going to do some stuff on, and I hope you got your notepads ready. Remember we said about a 45-day journey. Let me just share my screen. Give me a second. Can't believe this time last week I was in Kenya, and 2 Mondays ago I was in Istanbul. What a blessing. It's good to be traveling. Who else would like to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good thing. If you like doing it, you can do it. Nothing stops us if we make a choice. Yes, as we say, dream it, believe it, and achieve it. So Wealth Creation Leadership, look, we're in the 45-day plan. For those who have just joined us new, not a problem. You haven't missed out. There's always the recordings as well. But in this 45 days, guys, for the wealth creation side, we're looking at how we take control of our wealth. But adding to wealth is leadership. Okay, and that's important. Hey, Terry, good to see you on. Welcome. And happy birthday for, I think it was last week. Good to see Edward on. Essay from... Essay, which part of the country are you calling in from? If I remember right, you're not in Nigeria, right? Although you're from Nigeria, but just let us know and you're welcome.
Yeah, I'm in Australia.
Which part, bro? You're in
Sydney, New South Wales. Yeah.
Second best city in Australia, right?
Still be said.
It's all right. I just like to say that. I'm a bit of a stirrer. And so the other thing we talked about, guys, for the next 45 days is to create a legacy that you can live out and pass on. Okay. So the month of from May to June, 13th of June, we are basically creating a strategy for everyone. Now, the strategy that we're looking at uh, huh, where is it gone? Here we go. This is what we've been learning over the weeks. Week 1 and week 2, we talked about the success mindset traits. Okay, and this is all recorded for those who need to jump, go back and have a look. Because literally what I'm giving you is a 45-day plan that will help you and set you up for the rest of your lives. Okay, pretty much. I'm just going to mute everyone just because of the recording. So if you need to have a question or chat, feel free to unmute. Week 3, we talked about the growth mindset for trillion-dollar legacy, and that was very exciting. We talked about the empire, building an empire mindset. Week 4, we looked at understanding the structures of the wealthy, part 1, and then we did part 2 in week 5. Last week, we had a crypto wallets training with Pastor Rubika. How many of you were here and thought it was really great? Please put a 111 in the chat group, because I had some really good feedback from people there, and it was very good. And week 7, today, we're looking at inheritance products. What that means is products that are going to help you produce cash flow, but also leave it as a legacy for the future. So I want you to just keep that in your mind as well. All right. So you guys ready to go? If you're ready to go, put a yes in the chat group that I'm ready to learn, ready to go, ready to understand some new things about wealth creation. I was also telling our guys in Melbourne, if you are able to get this book, Tax Secrets of the Rich, please do. Okay, very, very good book. If you're in New Zealand, get this book as well. Written by Alan Mason, who is Kerry Packer's former accountant, and exceptional book, very easy to understand, very easy to read. Well worth, if you're a wealth creator, you have to understand how taxes are. Reduce your taxes. Actually, to say, the example I told you the other day was he was meant to pay about $174,000 in tax some years ago, and he was taken to ATO because he restructured everything legally and ended up paying $17 in tax. Sorry, $1.72 in tax. And he was taken to courts by the ATO and he won. Okay, so structures are important because you don't want to give more taxes than you really need to. For everyone else, if you're not in Australia, this is for everyone else, Psychology of Money, very good book. So these are 2 books that I've been reading recently, excellent books. And for those into leadership, because this is also a leadership development program, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell, okay? It will show you what you're good at, so you can celebrate, and it will show you what you need to work on, okay? And how many of you here, I want you to put a 111 in the chat group. I asked you this 2 weeks ago. I'm going to ask you again if you've thought about it. How many of you feel that you are leaders? I want you to put a 111 in the chat group. And a leader is simply someone who knows how to take some information and create a group of people that they can put into so that they can become like them. Okay, great. We've got lots of good people who are saying, yes, I'm a leader. Excellent. And remember, all of you are leaders of yourself first, right? So I want you to write that down. I am a leader of myself first. Okay, and why that's important is that if I can't lead myself, I can't lead anyone else, right? So I want you to recognize that. And I want to celebrate a few people here today who have been doing that, transitioning into that place of not just being a follower, but being a leader of themselves. Now, I'll tell you this story. Some of you have heard it since I got back. Some of you haven't. And I've got our wonderful Margaret here to confirm this story as well. So there was a really interesting guy that we met in Istanbul called Dr. Seven. All right. And he tried to grab my wife. So we're just working on that situation. But apart from that, very nice guy. Right, Margaret? So every time we came in, he had pictures with all these people, especially the women. And he's a joker. He's a really nice guy. He's from Thailand. Dr. Seven walks around barefooted, and so he was and very simply dressed, very different from the others who would walk around. Some of them dressed up in like millionaires, etc. But he has over 11, 12 humpback whales under him. For those who know the MetFi system, that is the highest level of NFT that you can buy. Okay, and it was just interesting to see. And I went up to him and I said to him, what's the secret? And he said, you don't have to believe me, just follow me. You don't have to believe me, just follow me, right? And so when he went up on stage, I was really touched by what he did, because he's a huge influencer in this MetFi side of things for 2 years. He's done amazingly well. And what really touched me was that he was helping his community get out of poverty. And he was standing there in pictures in the trenches, still barefooted, giving out rice, giving out food, helping people. And, this really amazing guy who's doing some stuff. Now, Margaret and I got talking with Gertrude, and we were just saying, it's one thing to be to follow Dr. Seven, because he said, just follow me. And I said, that's a bit hard for me because I don't live in Thailand. I live in Australia. But so it's one thing to follow him, or what would it look like to become a Dr. Seven? So my question to you guys is, if you're a leader of yourselves, is are you going to be following or are you going to become? Because it's one thing to follow a leader, but it's another thing to replicate and become like that leader and then get even better at it. And I like what Jesus said. He's one of the greatest, to me, greatest leader that ever lived. Said, the things I do, you shall do, and greater things. All right? And so how many of you here would want to just follow a leader? And how many of you here, if you just want to follow a leader, put FL, follow leader. But if you want to become a leader, so you just become like that leader, is that imitation, is to say, I want to become a leader that I can imitate. So I got to find a leader that I can imitate, and that's why fruit is important. People who've got results, it's important to follow. Hello, my sister Fatima. It's awesome to see you on. Blessings. Good to see you. Okay. So that's great. We've got someone who's ready to become leaders, not just follow leaders. But to become a leader, you got to follow a leader, right? But the mindset is that you follow a leader who's ready to replicate in you and through you. That's important. Okay, if you just have a leader that says, follow me, and just creates a community, that's one thing. But if you have a leader that says, follow me, and eventually you're going to have your own groups and you're going to have your own influences, that's even better. Okay, so guys, we started in January looking at 6 months. We said 2024, not 2024 is going to be a year of earning and learning. How many of you remember that? Who was here from January? I want you to put the word Jan in. If you were here from January, we jumped in. We started creating this wealth creation program, and we've added the leadership component in it. Those of you who were here from Jan, I want you to put the word Jan in, because I want to get some testimonies of the journey that you've had for the last 6 months, so that we know, look, this is going awesome. How do we now create the next 6 months? And for those who have just started or been here the last couple of months, I want you to celebrate the fact that you're not too late. You're in the right timing. And 2024 is certainly a year that's been an earning and learning year. All right. Now, awesome. Want to do one more thing. Which country or which state in Australia are you guys from? I'm from amazing Melbourne. Can you put where you're from? Because I know we got people from different countries and different states of Australia. We got Sydney, we got Melbourne, Melbourne. Where else are guys from? Painesville, Victoria, Melbourne, Myanmar, Melbourne, Malaysia. Awesome. Gold Coast, what a blessing. All right. So look at that. We're from everywhere. Where's Sri Lanka? I'm waiting for, did you put Sri Lanka in, Jerry Maguire? No, Jerry's about to put Sri Lanka in. There you go. All right, Jerry, make sure that I'm the one you're seeing on the screen, not the soccer. I know you like to multitask. I know you like to get distracted. Hyacinth, same thing with you. I'll be getting Josiah to come check your screen. Wonderful. Now, guys, we want to do a few testimonies before we do this training today on some products that are important as legacies for our future. A few people here are celebrating the fact that we've actually achieved some of our goals. And I want to just open up to a few of you and say, who would like to give a testimony from the ones who've been here from January that said, in the last 6 months, here's what I've achieved. Here's what I've sensed that I've gotten to. I want to give you guys 3 or 4 people that opportunity to do that right now. So who would like to go first? Please feel free to unmute and just share to the level that you want to share of the wealth creation side of how you've been able to achieve and what you've been able to achieve in the last 6 months. always takes the first. Let's see where those fingers are going. Once the first comes, the rest will follow.
Okay, I'll share.
Okay.
So in the last 6 months, I think what's been the biggest thing for me is the mindset change. Just that I've never been somebody to take risks or, like jump into something that I don't know much about.
I found this on the web.
Whoops, my phone's answering there too. Sorry. But what the Wealth Creation Hour has done for me is give me that the confidence that look, we are moving into a new era of different things that I have no idea about, but making an informed decision is not as risky as I thought it would be. So it's actually just encouraged me to be able to move out into different areas of making an income. And it's also taught me how to, so with some of the things that you've been teaching about the fixed mindset, the growth mindset, I find myself half and half. I think I'm getting better. I'm more towards the growth now, but I was very much fixed mindset when I look at that chart that you gave us. So now it sort of triggers whenever I come across an opportunity, am I being in a fixed mindset or a growth mindset, and sort of helps me to think, okay, I'm someone who believes that you never stop learning or you die. So if I'm going to say I'm fixed and I'm not moving anywhere else, then, well, that's not a good thing for me. So thank you for what you've been teaching on the Wealth Creation Hour, because it's really helped me to step out into things that I wouldn't have stepped out into before.
Awesome. Can we give Rubika 777? So Rubika, stay there. Don't go anywhere yet. Question for you is practically. I love the fact that you've realized to step out a bit more. So practically, I know you've been doing amazing with you've grabbed a hold of the crypto training, and you've actually been doing some stuff and getting some results. So you want to share quickly what you've been doing? So again, the others can also be motivated by this and encouraged.
Yep. So I've actually stepped out into buying some of the coin, learning a bit more about the bull run and all of those things it never interested me before, but now I'm realizing, okay, that's where the world's going to. And if I'm going to, so I'm a mum of 4 who has my own cake business, and I really want to be time free. I want to be able to travel around. I want to be able to do the projects that we do in Project 61. I want to be part of it. I want to have the time to be able to do all of that and to spend time with my family whenever and wherever I'm needed, and wherever I can, spend time with them and do things with them. So because of that, I decided a couple of years ago to pull back on my cake business, and I'm focusing on the areas of the cake business that produce with less amount of my effort, but also stepping into this crypto, looking at the fact that we can have multiple incomes, and I have made profit from the coins. I've kept this year as a year of learning, so it's been about it's okay if I make a mistake. That's something that was very hard for me before. If I made a mistake, I'd give up. But now it's like, okay, I've put aside a little bit of money that I can play around with, but safely and in an educated way. And it's been good, because even though there are times that it hasn't gone my way, I've learned something from it. And it's helped me for the next time when I've actually bought a coin, that I've learned how to go in and buy something at a good rate and then make better profit than I did like even a month ago. So each day I feel like I'm learning something new, and I'm actually looking forward to learning newer areas, like even the Forex trading and things like that, which I would never have stepped into before. So yeah, it's really helped.
Amazing. So what's the minimum you've made profit?
With the coin?
Yeah.
As in per coin or overall?
I don't know, per coin?
So per coin, there have been 1 or 2 where it's been $5 or $7.
Minimum percentage?
So percentage would have been 20% still,
20%.
which is what we're usually taught to look at, that
And what's
the percentage
maximum?
is Maximum, I think, was today 35%.
20% to
On one of
35%
the coins.
return.
Yeah.
And how long has that taken to do that? Is it over a week, 2 weeks, 5 weeks? Sold?
To actually get that coin to that point, or rather watch that coin go to that point, has taken probably about 4 or 5 days. I guess it all depends on the market as well. But what I've learned to do is actually get in at a lower rate so that I know it's on the upturn, and then watched it.
In 4 to 5 days, you've been able to consistently make between 20 to 34%. Have you made losses as well? Have you got to a place where you've sold something at a loss?
Yes, when I was right at the beginning, probably about 2-3 months ago. And there are some of the coin that I bought that I know I entered at the right time, but it's downward trend. And it's been like that for about a month and a half. But one thing that we've learned is if it goes down, it's got to come up at some point. So it's patience and just watching out for that 20% profit. And when it does happen, I'll be there to take it out.
Because you chose some good coins at the start. So guys, can we give Rubika a big hand and say thank you? Because just to encourage you guys that this is possible to do. And
Thank you.
if you do that, he is successful, great. Margaret, you had unmuted, ready to go. Margaret, I'm celebrating Margaret today because she's done some extraordinary stuff and she doesn't realize it. So let's celebrate with her. Go, Margaret.
Well, I have started doing the coins as well, but I've kind of lost a bit of momentum there in the last 6 weeks, and I've just tried to pick it up again recently. But possibly, I think I was losing interest because it was all going down. And I've just really come to realize it wasn't fun anymore,
Yeah. So what's happened in the last 6 months with wealth creation?
It's kind of childish, really. But anyway, I'm admitting it. I've just really got it that it wasn't as much fun anymore. It was more fun when it was all going up, and it was, So that's a learning thing, to realize that, you've got to go with the downs as well as with the ups. But I did make, on 2 particular coins, I did make about $100 on each of those.
Excellent.
But I then put it all into other coins, and so it's all sort of gone back downwards again. But, it's all learning. So it was exciting when I made those profits. Yes, so I have sort of let that go a little bit, but I'm just trying to build it up again. My main focus has been on Sam Digital, the business investment. That has been quite a long process this year since we began that. And from December last year, I was working on putting together a self-managed superannuation fund, which was a huge process for me to work through as well. And so now we're in May. I managed to transfer the funds into the superannuation fund and become part of the system in early April. So received the first payouts at the end of April, and then received the second one now at the end of May. So it was a bit of a shock, the reality of what the money was. I don't think I quite understood that initially. So basically, it's like I'm receiving a third income in the month. I'm working still part-time. I'm working 4 days a week. So I'm actually earning more than I would have earned if I was working full-time in a fortnight for this payment that comes at the end of the month. So it's really quite exciting because, I've been able to put money into my car to make it last a bit longer because, I was thinking about buying a new car, but that's not going to be a priority at this point. I realise I've got a Toyota, and Toyotas go on forever if you look after them. So I've put money into that I was very poor last year trying to get this car, keeping it on the road. But I'm over that now because all the parts that needed replacing have been replaced. So it's almost like having a new car. In fact, it feels like I'm driving a new car. It's very weird. and all the body work that needed doing, I was able to get done. And that's another story because there was things that happened there that I wasn't expecting. I got extra work done, when I wasn't expecting. So this money has been a real blessing, and it just means I can now get on top of other debts that I had as well, and then hopefully then start just putting that money back into the superannuation fund. I'm hoping in the next financial year I'll be able to do that. I'll be legally able to do that because I will have turned 65, and I think I've got more freedom to put more money than the basic amount after that time, which I've got to look into.
Guys, can we just celebrate Margaret? Basically, we're celebrating the fact that she, in 6 months of being on this journey, has literally replaced her income. So she could retire tomorrow if she wanted to. And so can we put a 777, let's do another 777 in the chat group. It's just to bless her and say well done, because Margaret came from saying I don't have a clue what to do. And don't worry about the products we're talking about, but just to emphasize the things like we've talked about Sam Digital and we've talked about crypto and we'll talk about MetFi. They're just simply products that we looked at in January, and we keep looking at the products that are the best opportunities for us to be good leaders of ourselves and of our wealth creation. But we always start with the end in mind, right? What's the end? What do we want to go back to? And with Margaret, it was, I want to retire. How soon? I'd love to retire this year. And what does that retirement look like? I don't want to just have the money that I'm earning currently. I want to have a bit more so I can travel, I can give, be more philanthropic, go for holidays, come back, not stress about the money for that, and basically act like a millionaire, right? Why not? And to see that achieve in the last 6 months, how amazing is that? How many of you think that's great? And then hearing Margaret, jump in, and even she talks about the SMSF. If you guys haven't got SMSF funds, I would highly recommend look into that idea, because one of the things I was telling Margaret about from this book is because I can't give tax advice, but tax agent gives good tax advice. And if you're in SMSF, it's a really good it's a really good platform where if you got active income and you're actively contributing, the most you'll pay is 15% tax. For those in Australia, you know that 15% tax, even if you earn 100,000 and you put it in there and you can pay 15% tax, how good is that? Then after you retire, when you get onto your pension, you can actually earn money in the SMSF and it's 0% tax. And this is all legal. Okay. And I did a couple of months ago, I don't know how many of you were there, I did a comparison and I said, what would it look like if you have someone earning $70,000 a year and an SMSF or a company earning $70,000 a year, and the difference of one paying up to $30,000 tax and the other one paying less than a few $1,000s tax. Why? Because it all comes down to structures, and structures are really important. So get this book if you're in Australia, highly recommend it. If you're not in Australia, it's perfectly okay. Find a book around your tax company, and this is written so simple. It's so easy to understand. I highly recommend it. The other thing is, like I said, Psychology of Money. These are the two books I'm reading today, reading this month, and last month, my wife got it for me when we were traveling to Istanbul. While we were in the airport, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to read these books. And I read them, and I'm like, these are really good books, really worth doing. One more testimonial, and the chap who's meant to give it has just walked out, but I'll just swap over to Hyacinth for a minute. Hyacinth is turning 17 this October, and he's been doing some really good things with his homeschooling. And today he had something that he shared with me, and I said to him, would you share that today? So Hyacinth, over to you. And that's part of his
Hello,
journey.
can you all hear me?
Learning. Yes, we can hear you, son.
All right, so everyone, like my dad said, my name is Hyacinth Sarvananthan, and I'm turning 17 years old, and I'm homeschooled, which is such an amazing thing. So a little bit about myself. I'm a soccer player, a professional soccer player in making. I'm getting there. So it's lovely to see a lot of people here. And today, while I was doing my part of my homeschooling, I don't really like reading books a lot, but sometimes I just have to push myself and read the books because I know it's best for me to read books and get me to understand more things. So I've been reading this book. It's called The Magic of Thinking Big, and I've been reading it, and it's such an amazing book. It's been helping me in like thinking big. Like sometimes we do things and we just don't think about it. But like this book is like teaching me things that like I've not had anyone else saying it, or no one like coming to talk about it. But some of the things I've had my dad saying in while we're at home church, some of the people say it, and I'm like, okay, this is amazing because it's kind of connecting. So today I was reading, and I go to this place where it says phrases that create small negative mind images and phrases that create big positive mind images. So, and then I read through that, and I go to this point where it says, I was in that business once and it failed, never again. So that's negative mind images. But if you go to positive mind images, it says, I went broke, but it was my own fault. I'm going to try again. See how amazing that is? And I was like, wow, instead of thinking it this way and just quitting and saying, I'm done, I'm finally done. But then how about we think on the other side of the box and say, how about we do this? And then the next one was the negative mind is, let's wait until a recession comes along, then buy stocks. And the other one was, let's invest now. Bet on properties, not depressions. So I was like, kind of making sense. I was like, yeah, amazing. And there's a lot of them here, and I've just been marking them, and it's amazing. So yeah, I don't know if any of you got this book, but it's pretty much helping me, and I'm learning a lot from it and putting down some notes. So yeah,
Awesome,
thank you very
Hyacinth.
much.
What's the name of the book?
The Magic of Thinking Big.
Can you put it up to us so people can, if you've read it, guys, you can put a yes in the chat. If you haven't, hey, you got a lot of books to read, guys. The Magic of Thinking Big. Take your finger off so you know who the author is, and hold it up. David Swartz. Okay, amazing book as well. Think and Grow Rich is another great similar to this from Napoleon Hill, another classic. Can we give Hyacinth a big triple five? I love his goals, I love his ideas, I love his dreams, and I love when he says he can't do, he remembers to do. And well done, Hyacinth. Thank you so much for sharing. So one more person we want to share from all the way from Sri Lanka on a platform again. Jerry, you joined us a little bit after January. I think it was about March or April, but you followed through, and I'm really proud of you. One thing we challenged Jerry with is if you want to see change, then you got to be the change, right? And Jerry leads is part of our leadership in P61 in Sri Lanka. He has an amazing program called Mighty Step Academy that's now part of P61, and he looks after so many children through dance, teaching them leadership skills, especially kids who are from the streets. Doesn't matter what background they come from, what cultures, what religious backgrounds, what language they speak. He's been there helping them, and he's been awarded the second most important award in the whole of Sri Lanka in the social side. So he's a very important dude now, but he's not dressed up as a millionaire yet, but we will get him there, right? Jerry, no, I'm kidding. So Jerry gave that commitment, you joined. Please share what you just shared on the chat group a couple of days ago when the MetFi took off, the Marine Moguls, and what did you and your team do? And I'm so proud of you guys in Sri Lanka. Before Jerry speaks, let me also add that Jerry was given an opportunity of an idea of coming to Australia through skilled migration with his wife and his son. And I love what he said. For those of you who haven't studied Sri Lanka, go study. It's in an economic crisis. The inflation was like a couple of 100%. I mean, we're not talking about 7% inflation, 5% inflation. It was like literally so unbelievable that it was hard for people to live. And I love his heart. He said, I'm staying in Sri Lanka because I want to see that nation changed. And I really, really, really take my hat off to this man, because he could have taken an opportunity to run away and start a life for himself and his family and support maybe the family back in Sri Lanka. But instead he said, I want to be there for my nation and for my community. So Jerry, tell us what's been happening through the wealth creation course and what you've achieved.
Well, thank you so much, brother. The wealth creation program has, since my concert, I wanted to sit and learn and then also teach a new skill for myself so that I can also help the others and plus my step to run it by itself. So that's why I wanted that change. I need to do that. So recently, like when it comes to MedFi, I joined in and then I saw the result. I joined the others. Just after the concert, we got them started and they joined in. And so while that was happening, there was the option called marine mortgage, which I saw it. I'm like, another NFT. I don't want to go for it. So I didn't want to click on it. So we had a chat about Ruben, and then Ruben in the meeting he said that this is just airdrops. You just click it. You never know what will happen. So okay, I said all right, and then I checked it. It's always just sharing and tweeting and all that, which we had everything, and then I love points, getting points. So I told our guys this is something great happening, and just try to get it. We don't know what will come. You never know what is it. It's going with the anniversary, second year anniversary. So we went on it, and then so it ended, and now we didn't know what to do. And then I said, then Ruben said he's going to Istanbul, and then when Ruben goes, I know that he will go and check everything. So I said, guys, don't worry, give us 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we will get some good news. And these guys waited, and then we got this group, and we can claim. So claiming also, then we claimed it. I got our guys to claim it as well. And then Ruben just mentioned, said you can sell it, which I had a very, very low visit. So but I told our guys to keep on doing it because I was running around with my son's illness and all that. Everything happened in that. So Ruben was saying that you can sell it, and then you can get either $20 or $120. So I was like, okay, I will stick to the $20. I don't want to put this is $20 is much better rather than having nothing. So I told Malcolm and all that, and then Malcolm the next day says, bro, you got to hear this. And then I said, what is it? I just sold my one for $150. I said, dude, what's the amount that you got? I said, it's just 1% extra than yours. I said, dude, that's amazing. And then I said that Ruben just told me that it will go to something like that. And so Malcolm was the first, as always, he's the first person to go ahead. He knows a lot of things about it. So I tell him, you go ahead and you let me know. So, and then I got our guys in it. I told them we have to do it before the first, and you got to sell it. And the thing dropped then and there. The MedFi dropped then and there. I told him, put it on MedFi. Don't go to trade it or anything. Just wait till it goes up high. So it hit 140, and that hour I got our guys in a call, and I told them trade it. And to see my friend, one of these guys, Anoma and Sasanta, Ruben knows, he had about 0.66, which he sold about $190. And best part is these guys were finding, so they took that risk of trusting me and putting some money which they had as a savings. And I told them not to touch it, but they are somehow put it because they wanted to be in it. And this guy just won more than 100%, and it was so amazing for me to see that because and I know him, how he runs the family and all that. It was so blessing. And the other guys have got 80% coverage with MedFi, including my brother-in-law, which was amazing. And they are now pumped up so that they have seen the initial investment coming in. And I was so pumped up that I wanted them to get that confidence, just like I got it, so that it can help him. So This was amazing, and I put it up to the other guys. I was seriously sad that other guys was not able to do the same, but would have been wonderful to see Pastor Esther and Dimantha and all these guys in it too as well. But then again, so we have seen it, and now the next moment, if we have something like that, we know what to do. So, so it was amazing. So thank you, brother. Thank you, Ruben, for all the help and guidance always. So, and then I trust the process and I've seen the results. So thank you so much.
Awesome, bro. Guys, can we put a 666? No, let's do a 777 in the chat group and to say thank you to Jerry. That's really exciting, and it's good that he is a good leader. You led your team as well. You did something. People got more than 100% back on their investment, which is exciting. Some of the guys in Istanbul sold and they made like 18 grand just overnight. And this is like airdrops are like free money. And it's just very exciting to see. And that's why I said, guys, begin to understand the $1 trillion industry that we are tapping into, and don't just focus on your little amounts of salary or business. This is a $1 trillion industry that we're in, and so it's exciting. So we're in the month of June. We are 6 months into that earning and learning, and it's never too late to start. How many of you are ready to continue your education and to continue getting into a position where you are building something for the future, not just immediate. There's immediate gratification, but there's also future gratification as well. Now, guys, remember I was just mentioning this last week, and I want to remind you that you can either be a thermostat or a thermometer. Which one do you guys want to be? And for those who got it, you can put in the chat group. For those who haven't, being a thermostat is where you get to set the temperature in the room. You get to set the attitude in which you will and the altitude in which you will fly, not based upon what other people are doing. But if you're a thermometer, you'll just be whatever is happening around you. So which one do you want to be? And if you're going to have that mindset of wealth creation, remember, we're not trying to be rich. The rich chase after money. We want to be wealthy. Wealthy control money. And you got to have that right thermostat, not a thermometer, all right? So put in the chat group what you want to be, okay? Like we said, thermostats actually set the temperature. These are the people who influence the social climates in which they live. Whereas a thermometer simply tells you what the temperature is. These are the people who simply reflect the social climates in which they live. So as I always say, in anything in our lives, but especially in wealth creation, it is very important that we are thermostats, yeah? And if you're ready to be a thermostat, keep reminding yourself every time you start freaking out, getting anxious, getting stressed out, go, uh-oh, I think I'm being a thermometer. I need to slow down, and I need to stop reacting, and I start responding and become a thermostat, right? I always tell myself the same thing. So what I want to share with you guys today, just in the next 15 minutes or so, is products worth investing in that produce income, and you can also leave as an inheritance, okay? And I want you to just take this in mind. Some of you will tick off some boxes and say, yes, there are 10 of them that I want to share with you today. Some of you will tick off some boxes and go, yes, I'm on the right track. Some of you will say, oh, there's some stuff I need to look into. And some of you will be overwhelmed and go, I never knew that these even existed. And that's okay. I just want you guys to get an idea of where you're at. When we do one-on-ones with some of you guys, walk with you through the products and stuff like that, then at least you start to understand how this is helpful for long-term wealth creation. The first thing is real estate. If you've got real estate already and you have thought about real estate, I want you to put RE for real estate in the chat group. If you are earning from or thinking about leaving this as your legacy, thinking about something that is part of your retirement, and remember, I retired at 36 years of age. So when I say the retirement, I mean like we retire today. Don't wait till you're 65. Why? Start living the life and creating a lifestyle that's worth living. So with real estate, awesome. There are things that I want you to think about is not just residential properties, but commercial properties as well, and even land. We just came back from Kenya. We went and looked at a land that we had purchased about a year and a half ago, and it's already doubled. Now in Australia, normally land doubles every 7 years. Buildings, land, normally it's about a 7-year period. In Kenya, we did our research. We went and looked at a place where my wife's brother was living, and he looked at the area, it was an up and coming area, was doing really well. We made a purchase. We've made a profit of over $80,000. How many of you think that's great? You know, in a year and a half, just by the land sitting there. And some of you seen the pictures, and all it's doing at the moment is growing corn, which is not a bad thing because it's an enterprise that's producing income as well. But eventually, we're looking at building a 5 or 10 story building there that will produce income. So think about residential, commercial, and land, and think about how you can use that as income as well as a legacy that you can leave, inheritance you can leave for your generations to come. Number 2, stocks and bonds. Okay, and now I must say this is not the greatest for short term, it's more for long term. So it's not something I personally have gotten into for the short term side, but long term, brilliant. Blue chip stocks, dividend stocks, government corporate bonds. If anyone has got into this, put a number 2 in the chat group, because this is the second one out of 10 that I'm sharing with you. So if you are in this or you've thought about stocks and bonds, this is another great opportunity for you to think about creating wealth over the long term. Okay, and again, if it's overwhelming for some of you, don't worry. Some of you are excited and go, I'm really been thinking about this. Well, it's time to do some research in it as well. Okay, and we're just talking about long-term strategies right now. So when I say long-term, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. Okay, the next thing, number 4, guys, is precious metals. Okay, gold, silver. Every time we travel, like we went to Istanbul, there was a marketplace there, the largest market, undercover market in the whole world, made in the 1400s. Amazing bazaar market. I don't know if anyone's been to it, but it's just a beautiful place. But we saw a lot of gold shops. Now, I am still doing my research on gold, so I'll buy gold here in Australia, but I'm still learning that, the gold in India, gold in China, gold in places like Istanbul, there's some really good gold that will go up in value, and it's something that you should keep as a long-term thing. So how many of you into gold, silver? Put number 4 as precious metals. Gold, silver. Okay, awesome. Some people thinking through that. Platinum and palladium. I haven't personally invested in those, but something worth looking into in the jewelry industry. Okay, awesome. Number 5, collectibles. Okay, collectibles, so things like art, antiques, rare coins and stamps. Okay, these are worth looking into for the long term. Again, these are not short-term things, but these are more long-term. These are things that you could leave as an inheritance, leave as a legacy. Is anyone into collectibles? Put number 5 in the chat group if you're into that sort of thing. For me, I'm with the NFT. I will add that as part of my collectible, because NFTs are that. So in Medfi, when I bought these NFTs, some of them are going to be legacy NFTs that will be kept there for the long term. Okay, well, I haven't looked at artwork, but I'd love to look into that down the track. How amazing would it be to travel to different countries to look at different opportunities? Okay, going off to number 6, businesses. So family-owned businesses or franchises, again, another great opportunity to leave if they're running well. Okay, and businesses can be tricky, but some of you here have jumped into things like Sam Digital. That's a business venture that is focused on creating its own legacy. So that's something that I would certainly share with you guys to think about. Do some research on it, and create a legacy around it. Okay, that's important. Okay, anyone thought about businesses or are running a business that you think I want to leave it as a legacy? Awesome. Rubika's already started with that. Put a number 6 in there. Okay, we're just super excited with Project 61, looking at creating a business around the NDIS projects, and around some skill business opportunities with the day spas, that we can get some really good quality people from Kenya down. And if that works well with migration side, skilled migration, why can't we help more people? So that's, would that be a business that we would look at being a legacy for the future? 100%. Okay. Again, if these are new to some of you, no problem. You're thinking through this. Okay. Number 7, Life insurance, I was talking about this with Margaret. I don't know how many people have thought about this, but life insurance is actually a very good investment once you understand it. So speak to your financial planner, do some research around it, okay? Now, it's not something you can benefit on, but it's something that you can leave behind that others can benefit from. Make sense? Has anyone thought about it or even got it? Put a number 7 in the chat group. Okay, whole life insurance, universal life insurance. A lot of wealthy people understand the quality of this. Okay, in Australia, we're not taught a whole lot, and some of the other countries as well. I've noticed we haven't been taught a whole lot on life insurance. But hey, if you insure your car and your house, how much more important is your life? Okay, and life insurance is something that's a good legacy you could pass on as well. One person, so Ross has had a look at it. Okay, if it's new to you guys, I want you to put the word N for new. This is new to me. I haven't thought about this. Okay, I want you to put the word N in to think through that, and just be honest, because this is again part of the wealth mindset, is to change our minds, and life insurance policy is a very important one. All right, awesome. Number 8, just got 10, so another 3 more. Retirement accounts. Okay, retirement accounts are things like super in Australia, 401k in America, etc. Look at your retirement accounts. Like I just mentioned today with Margaret, the ability for reducing your taxes in a legal way and allowing your investments to grow faster and quicker through some really, really good legal ways and structures. Why not? Why would we not do it? Okay, which is why the rich keep getting richer, the poor get poorer, and the middle class are stuck with all the taxes. Why? Because of structures. And if you change a structure, you change things. Now, I'm not expecting you guys to change in a day. Remember, we've had some testimonies over the last 6 months, and the next 6 months, we want to just keep increasing these testimonies to help you guys. We want to create a few millionaires. We've already created a couple. I'm really excited to see who are coming up and seeing and recognizing, oh, I've got a millionaire status. I've got assets that are millionaire basis. Now I need to steward that well, and that's very exciting. Okay. Number 9, trusts and estate planning. Okay, revocable living trusts and irrevocable trusts. Again, if you've thought about these, how you plan your estate, how you plan the trusts that you would have, I want you to put a number 9. If you haven't thought about it, don't worry. One of the things, an example that I was telling you recently that my accountant talked to me about that taught me something was that because I have 9 children, 13 grandchildren in total, meaning not my grandchildren, but my mom. So my sister's got 4 children. So in total, we've got 13 grandchildren that as a legacy we want to pass a real estate to. It was really exciting to realize that we can put them in trusts. And that will eliminate the tax and gift benefits that we would have otherwise faced, passing that down in decades to come. All right. So if you've thought about this, put a number 9. If you've never thought about it, put a 0. All right, because they're getting to the place where there's some stuff there, but maybe you guys are going, I've never thought about this. Worth me looking into. Okay, and every country has got different jurisdictions, so have a look at that. Have a think about it. Okay, good. A lot of people, this is new to you, and that's good because I want you to think through some new information. Finally, guys, but I wouldn't put this as last, number 10, super exciting to me because we're in the digital world and now is the best time, cryptocurrency. Things like Bitcoin and Ethereum, worth buying and keeping, especially Bitcoin. Okay, the idea that Bitcoin could become a legacy coin for your families and your generations. Imagine you had 10 Bitcoins over the next 50 years. Say the next 10 years, you acquired 10 Bitcoin, about 3 Bitcoin or 4 Bitcoin in the next 10 years. Could you sell 2? Is it possible that Bitcoin will go above $100 and continue to $100,000, and continue to grow? Absolutely. From previous historical, it looks like that. Is Bitcoin one of those things where everything else is determined by just like the gold? 100%. And Ethereum is like the oil of the industry. Okay. But also looking at legacy around things like crypto products, like the MetFi product that Jerry was just chatting about before. Have a look at some of those where you can delve into your cryptocurrencies from a platform base. Also learning like what Rubika's been learning, and a few others have been learning about the Bitcoin, about the crypto, about the alternate coins, understanding the Forex industry, the $1 trillion ones, and learning from that so that you can produce something that you know, hey, this is going to be an amazing altcoin that's going to last a few decades. Okay, but definitely Bitcoin is here to stay. It'll take another 100 years before it finishes its halving, which means it'll be around our generation, the next generation. And once it finishes its halving, it'll still be a coin to contend with. Okay, so hope that's helpful. One of the things I want you to think about is when considering these investments, it's essential to, number one, diversify investments across different asset classes to reduce risk. Okay, number two, plan for taxes. Okay, don't let taxes hit you guys and go, oh my God, I had to pay taxes. No. Set up your structures beforehand. Understand structures. Okay, so understand the tax implications for each type of investment. Now, I know a lot of you would look for the cheapest accountant, but I know a lot of you are changing your mind to recognize that sometimes a more expensive accountant is better because he saves you or she saves you a lot of money. How many of you would agree with that? Okay, and I was just sharing with you recently that my accountant saved me through GST about $80,000 on 2 properties that we'd purchased, and it cost me $5,000. Now, if I just said to you, my accountant cost me $5,000, how many of you would have thought that was too expensive? 100%. But if I said he saved me $80,000 that I wouldn't have been able to get without his help, then that's a $75,000 profit. How many of you think that would be amazing? Okay, because I've just created someone's income in just a sale of a property, in a purchase of 2 properties, sorry. Okay, just by having better structures. Make sense? All right. So understand the tax implications. As I said, I'm not a financial expert. I'm just telling you my story. I'm helping you guys with giving you ideas on how to become wealthy. Consult professionals, work with financial advisors, estate planners, tax professionals to optimize your investment strategy and ensure proper inheritance planning. Okay. Now, having said that, it's not easy to find tax professionals, financial professionals that might meet your level of risk or your level of the goals you want to achieve. So look for them, and you'll find them in the end. And not everything someone says as a professional is always accurate. What I do is I always listen. I look at how the law is applied to things, and then I go and make my own decisions. Okay. So these products can help build a robust portfolio to leave a valuable legacy for future generations, plus give you cash flow and profits over your lifetime. Okay. Awesome, guys. So I hope that's helped you. I just want to open up for any questions, any comments. Has this helped? This is week number 6. We got one more week for that 45-day period, but this is information that we're recording. I'll put the slides on the Telegram group as well, guys, so you can have a look at them yourselves and look through them and just mull through it. It's just information that's going to be setting you up for life. Okay, as I said, being able to retire at 36 and then travel different nations and not have to go back to work. And yes, there are dips. There are times when, just like recently, worked in the rest, but hard in the rest for about just under 2 months, produce an $80,000 income, but still haven't got that paid yet, right? Now that's going to take some time for that to come through. So there might be some dips like, oh, could really do with that cash flow. But when you have multiple streams, like I was talking to Margaret about, bless you, Fatima. Good to have you on, my dear. Take care. So as I was saying to Margaret, when you have multiple streams of income that you can look at, and today, Margaret, we sat together and we looked at about 6 different ways that Margaret can create income and 3 that she can do immediately. And 1 that she's already doing, so we're clapping hands with that, and we said, rather than just going and retiring, which you could literally do tomorrow, let's create 2 times or 3 times the income. Why? Because then you have your backup plan, right? In different places, different industries. Like super excited about the MetFi and how the met pots coming in. So for those who got no clue about trading, you can go do some trading in this met pot and it'll trade for you. And it's been so far returning about a 9-10% return. Now, again, you value that and go, okay, am I willing, do I want to do something like that? You might not be a Rubika or a Chem or M who might say, I want to actually go put money in, get my returns 20%, 30%, and I might not have time or the know-how how to learn that skill. So I'll do it this way. Okay, so different ways. You might say, my super. I just spoke to someone today. Their super is returning absolutely nothing. And so she called me up, this friend, and said, what can I do? I said, come see me Friday. Here's an opportunity that can return maybe 12 to 15%. She goes, that's great. That'll be so helpful. So there's some other things as well, but we need to know what your goal is. From your goal, we work through it. But again, no financial advice. Just here to say, here's what the stuff I would suggest to do. You go do. All right. So I want to open up to 2 or 3 people before we finish off. Questions or comments on the 10 things I've just shown you. How has it benefited? How is this helped you to think through some things or tick off a box and go, yep, this is going to be helpful for my forward thinking and forward legacy. Feel free to unmute and just want to hear from you guys. Good to see Ruth from Kenya here as well. Awesome. Oh, sorry, I misread what Fatima said. I thought you were leaving, so that's why I said bye. Fatima, stay. Don't go. Ignore what I said before.
Well, I just want to, today's session was very good about the 10 future things that we need to work on. So something that I really like to work on is the real estate and the life insurance part. So which I've worked on the life insurance part, but I've kept it on hold a little bit. So which is very good. And also the retirement account, I never heard about it. So I think Sri Lanka we don't talk about it much. But because we have pension kind of thing, I think this is much more clarity. I can work on it. So thank you so much for a good understanding for me to also to work on to do the studies on this so that it will help me for future. Yep.
Awesome, Jerry. Thank you. That's really exciting to hear. Hear that there's some stuff that you can put into play and some stuff that you've kind of been looking at already, which is great. What about others?
So for me, I've been looking at the super funds and the self-managed super fund after a long time. I remember when I was working in the bank about 20 plus years ago, they were really pushing us into going into self-managed super, and it just went in one year and came out the other. But thank you for what you've been sharing over the last 6 months, Rueben. It's actually woken me up to, oh, I've got to do something about it, because my super's like hardly there. It's been eaten up, especially because I've got a small business and have been on and off with the business. I haven't really contributed much to my super. So it's not much at all. But look, you've given us the idea that doesn't matter if there's only a little bit. There are platforms and there are ways, like with the SAM Digital and other ways, that I can actually start working on it. And it's never too late. So I can actually build it up and bring it to a place where it will help and be there for the future. So thank you for that. And the other thing that I was interested in is the trust and the property. Those are also 2 areas that I probably would never have even ventured into, but I'm quite excited about finding out a bit more about it and looking into doing, stepping into those as well next. So thank you, Rueben, for what you're sharing. And today's 10 things, it's really good to have that there and be able to go back and have a look and see, okay, I tick this and tick this, but now I've got to look at this and this. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Guys, like I said, get the book. I mean, look, business and tax structures here, sole trading, partnerships, company, discretionary trust, unit or property trust, superannuation fund, other structures. Like, you don't have to be a sole trader, because a sole trader, an employee, and a partnership takes a lot of taxes, and it also makes you vulnerable. So recognizing some of the stuff, and especially SMSFs, worth looking into. I am so excited about that, because there are only 6 million SMSFs in Australia, and there are over 24 million superannuation funds that everyone's got in Australia. So imagine how much there's a loss, and how many people we can help just to understand, to self-manage. But to self-manage means you have to become educated and not just trust some company doing something for you, because for those in Australia, it'll be the same in every other country. When you retire, there's not enough people working that are going to be able to support you. You guys agree with that? If you do, I want you to put a 1 in the chat group. Literally, you're not going to be supported, which is why the government wants to move it to SMSF, so that you can, try and support yourself, so they don't blame themselves, and you can't blame them, and so on and so forth. So we have to grab a hold of this. We have to get an understanding of this. It's so important, guys. Okay, and so you got 2024 to do this. Every time we turn up here on a Monday, we're learning different things, different strategies. Let's hear from a couple of other people. What have you picked up today, or any questions you have?
That's the big thing for me was, and we discussed this earlier today, was the area of insurance, life insurance. It was just something I thought about often, but thought I can't afford it anyway, and really, and I just let it go. So it's something now to really think about as it's just another form of investment for your family.
Yep.
Really.
Absolutely.
So
it's a protection as well. Being able to say to your family, if I get some disability or something takes place, protected. If some accident happens, it's protected. But also in my death, and I know people don't like to think about that. It's morbid, and I know for me that's tough, because I'm going to live to 1,000 years plus. But I always say, let's work out, like, what if tomorrow it's time to come home? It's time, mission done, time to go home. What are you leaving behind? And one of the things I shared with Margaret is, don't be afraid to leave properties that are not completely paid out. Okay, because a lot of the time we become slaves to a culture that's told us we have to pay our homes down. And I was like that up until last year. And I had to have a really good think about it, and recognize, if I leave behind 10 properties that are still got mortgages on them, looking back at what my dad left us, that he bought a property that was, at that time, 30 years ago, it cost about $130,000. I know, good old days, but hey, forget about good old days. Think about the opportunity now. Now, when he passed on, he paid it all off, and the property, it was worth, at that time when Dad passed on, about 7 years ago now, $800,000. Now, would it matter to us if he had a $130,000 mortgage on it? It wouldn't matter. Make sense? So now when I look at my property, it might be $1 million mortgage, it might be a $1.5 million mortgage. Does it matter if it's going to double or triple, and in 30 years' time that property is worth, the mortgage is only like 20% of the value of the property? So we were having a chat with Margaret, and I don't know how this feels for you guys, but what would it look like that in your legacy death, you are still you will have lots of property that you can leave, but it may have a bank loan on it, and that's okay, because the value of it is going to be much higher if you buy in the right places. And I always buy at a discount. Okay, every time I buy property, I've made my profit if I have to sell it straight away. I'll either break even or make my profit, make some profit, and that's how I always buy in my mind. So what if you can do the same, and then leverage off that to buy other property? How many of you think that might be a good idea? And then your life insurance is the stuff that you can leave, because you can't access that. But what if you can live a lifestyle of accessing properties that go up in value, and banks can't wait to give you money as long as you have a loan running? Anyone think that's a good idea? If you can steward it well, it's a good idea. And if some of you go, oh, I don't know about this, it's all right. I didn't know about it either. I was like, oh, I don't like debt. I hate debt. But credit card debts, yes, paid off. Anything that's going to chew up your money, owing money to other people, pay them off. But property debt, there's a difference in that, and you've got to do your homework in it. How many of you think might be a good idea? Why don't you put a Y in the chat group? Okay, and let's have one or two more people share before we finish for the day. Thank you, Margaret, for sharing. Ross, I almost saw Ross Davies. I almost saw. Were you going to say something, Ross? No? You're muted. I can't hear you. You're just saying stuff.
No, I didn't even move 1 millimeter.
Yeah, I saw the finger. At least I was imagining myself seeing the finger. Ross,
I'd like to hear from Sandeep, actually.
I was going to say the same thing. Before we finish, we're going to hear from Sandeep. So do we hear from him now, or do we hear from him after you share what? We're going to go.
I'm waiting for Ross to complete what he was saying.
Oh, no.
Hello, everyone.
I'm not saying anything, Sandeep. I don't have anything to offer, really.
It was good to catch up with everyone in Sydney, and the SAM event was very spectacular. It was a great event put together. I was just looking at the videos posted by Justin and Josh. They definitely took the videographer, hijacked the videographer pretty much. So every video that you'll ever see is Justin and Josh, but it's an amazing way to promote an opportunity that you're a part of, especially using the power of social media for free, because it doesn't cost you anything to use Facebook and Instagram. And if you can use it to your advantage, then why not? It's a captive audience, and we've obviously got access to followers that follow us. There are people who make hundreds of thousands of dollars just from TikTok. But it was an amazing session as always, Rueben, and great to see Sister Fatima on the call. Great to see so many other people, regulars on the call. And like I've always said, that it's strength in numbers. The more people attend these sessions, and Rueben, you've obviously painstakingly put through content every single Monday, which is brand new. And I do remember that I was actually told by someone I was working with very closely in 2010 to buy Bitcoin. And unfortunately for me, I laughed it off, and he didn't. He did buy some, and he's just recently moved into a $2.5 million house in Chadstone, for those who live in Melbourne. And that house is fully paid off through the Bitcoin he had purchased some time ago. That's the advantage of advantage of listening to people and not being too skeptic. And we are again in that same bull run, which will happen in the next 6 months. I know Brother Santosh also puts together his content on Tuesdays and Thursdays that a lot of you are taking advantage of. So as they say, do your own research and start with what you're comfortable to live without and lose. But best case scenario, sky's the limit. There was a coin, I believe, that 10x just in the last 1 month. So many opportunities in front of us. I was just chatting with Sister Fatima, and I was saying there's so many opportunities, so many platforms that all of us have been shown and we can now take advantage of. It's unfortunate for those who were in the previous platform that we've got a little bit of our hard-earned money stuck, but hopefully we can recover that through all the other amazing opportunities that we have been shown, and obviously that we are all part of. What we choose to do with them is again totally up to us. And SAM is one such opportunity that Rueben touched on. MedFi is another such opportunity. Sister Fatima was talking about another opportunity called Sixth Society that she may be coming to Melbourne on the 15th. So hopefully we'll get to catch up with her when she's down here. And I look forward to the Monday sessions every week. So Rueben, keep up the great work, and it's great to connect with everyone and see everyone again.
Thank you, bro, Sandeep. Guys, we got to give him a 555 to say he's done a great job. It's good to see him back, and it's all excited as well. And as we say, guys, in wealth creation, like Warren Buffett said, you know, he only made profits on 3 out of 10 of his investments. I remembered his name finally. The old man who made it
We
rich.
couldn't think of it earlier, could we?
I know. We couldn't remember his name. Warren Buffett. Anyway, you know, he only wins in 3 out of 10 investments, right? And so it's not a gamble. It's about making good decisions, diversifying, and when things go wrong, I like what Hyacinth said. The poor mindset will say, "I never do it again. That's it. I'm done." But the positive mindset and the big thinking mindset will say, let me review what I've done. Have I made a mistake? Have I learned? What's my failure? Maybe I didn't do anything wrong. It's just what happened, and I'll start again. You know, and us continuing to do that from a wealth creation perspective creates wealth for life, but it also teaches your generation something very powerful. So, guys, it's good to have everyone here. Mercy, did you learn anything? I know Mercy's from Myanmar and she's done amazing. They've had air raids in the last week. They've taken away her VPN, free VPN. Like the military's been terrible, but yet she turns up every Monday and she's picking up things and learning, and we're so impressed with her. Mercy, can you hear us? And I know sometimes there's no electricity, and yet she
Yes,
just. Mercy, what did you learn from today? What was helpful?
um, the I learned about the 10 opportunity that you described, the 10 thing. Some of them are things like I don't even really think about. You know, I have no idea what, because in Burma is right now is very hard to even think of getting income and like even think of the ways of making wealth creation. So I really get fired up by hearing the stories, the testimonies, and I'm really encouraged and charged up by every time I join and jump on. It's always like a motivation. It motivated me at least, you know, and then like to keep going on, to keep trusting and start with what I have, and then Sandeep just said, you know, we have to start from something with what we have, so that in the next 5 or 10 years, you know, we're gonna be ahead of people, you know, who didn't do anything. So I thank you for the opportunity and for the mindset change and for the lessons that you are teaching. Is really encouraged me and motivate me. Thank you.
Well, we want to give you more credit than you're not giving yourself enough credit than you deserve, because one of the things that I love that Mercy said about 3-4 weeks ago when we talked about buying property, one of her vision statements was that she wants to buy property in Myanmar. And one of the reasons for it was to have a children's home to help some of the kids that are literally thrown out and left out. And I really love the fact that about 2 weeks ago, Mercy wrote to us and said, I'm starting a children's home, and I've got 2 children. Was it 2 children, Mercy? 2 children who've been literally left out, and I'm going to start doing it. And
Yes.
I love the tenacity behind this woman, because you know, so many people would say, "I wish I could. I'll try. One day I want to do it." And she dreamed it, and within a few weeks, the opportunity was presented to her. And even though it's a financial burden, she goes, "I'm going to do it, and we're going to find a way to do it." And you know, she's got into the Met-Fi, she's got into some of the other things, and she's got returns already come back. So I'm very proud of her. Such an amazing example. So Mercy, I want to give you more credit than what you're giving yourself, because I'm so impressed by the way you turn up. You don't make an excuse. There are people in other countries who say, I can't turn up because I don't have enough Wi-Fi, or I don't have enough bundles or data or whatever, and you just show up and you're always there, and you're not just picking up, staying there, you're actually taking the information in, retaining it, and putting it out there. So well done. It's a good lesson for all of us. Every time I feel like, should I do this or not? Absolutely. Think of Mercy. Why would we not want to do it? Yeah. So guys, wonderful time. Thank you. We're going to put the recording up in the Telegram group. I think Emmanuel, I'll leave that with you, because you did such a great job last time. So if you could put that in, and then we'll put the PDF as well of the slides, so that'll help you guys. Okay, and we'll see you guys next week. Next week will be the last week of the 45 days, and then we start a new program. And in those the last week, again, some really good content for you to help you push forward. And what we want to start doing now is think about every month meeting some goals that you want to hit and achieve. So I want you to start thinking about that between now and next month, next week, sorry. In the month of June, how do I want to hit this? Remembering the word that was given yesterday about the autumn leaves, that even though in Australia we're seeing this as a time where it's going into winter, maybe we stop, everything stops till we and hibernate. It's quite the opposite for us. It is the best time to accelerate because there's so many great opportunities there, guys. And you don't have to do everything, and you're not going to miss the boat. You find the one thing, the two things. How do I know what to do? Work backwards. What do I want to achieve? With what I want to achieve, then you work forward. I think Rubika said, time freedom. And I really love that. That's something big on my heart. If we want time freedom and we need the resources, the money to have time freedom, then you know what you want to work on. Any project that doesn't give you that, you let go of. But if projects you're willing to work on, give you that opportunity, great. If it's a secondary source of income, if it's duplicating what you want to retire on, then you know what your goal is, and then you move towards that. Bless you guys. Have a great rest of the Monday. Enjoy, and we'll catch up with you next week.